don't just keep it to yourself. A lot of people keep the ideas here. They think that they're the first person that ever came up with the idea. 99.9% of the time, someone else in another part of the world has the same idea as you. What the benefit is that you can do is to talk about your idea with friends and family, to listen and get feedback.
Very good morning to one and all. This is Gufran. So for the people who don't know me, recently I have got admission into Technical University of Munich. And yeah, these days I've started making podcasts with people around the globe who are working in different sectors, like from industrial experts to startup coach to people who are actually working in some companies and also students. So in today's video, I have with me startup coach, or you can say program manager at Unternehmer TUM, Dr. Alan Armstrong. So this is a very beneficial video for you all, as we have one of the knowledgeable person in our podcast. And yeah, like without further speaking me, I would like to say Dr. Alan Armstrong to please give us a brief introduction and start this video.
Thanks very much, Gufran. That's a really nice introduction. I don't know how knowledgeable I am, but thank you very much. It was a very nice introduction. Yeah, so I'm Alan Armstrong. I come from Dublin in Ireland, and I've been living in Germany for about 6 years, working in the area of entrepreneurship and innovation. And at the moment, I work for Unternehmer TUM, which is basically Europe's largest entrepreneurship center. It's actually separate from the Technical University of Munich, but we obviously have a close partnership with them, which means that we also offer programs for other European startups, entrepreneurs across Germany, across Europe, and across the globe. And basically what I do is I work with startups at a very early stage to support them when they have an initial idea about how to get into an accelerator and how to get their first investment or their first funding for their startup. And then in another life that I actually do, I also have a YouTube channel where I try to support startups with some resources, some educational material, teaching them how to find the right accelerator, the right funding, how to set up a company. And I have that on YouTube for the past 4 or 5 months. So if you're interested, you can also check that out. It's the Strong Startup on YouTube as well.
So guys, I'll link the YouTube channel description from Alan's YouTube channel over here in the group description, as well as I'll share it on the WhatsApp groups as well. So do check out that channel. I mean, I have checked all the videos and they are super. So apart from this, Alan, as we have talked earlier, you were speaking about some hackathons. So I think you should speak over here, like at the beginning of this session.
Yeah, of course. So one of the biggest things we're doing this year is Europe's largest mobility hackathon. It's called InnovaCity. And the good thing is it's all online. So wherever you are in the world, you'll be able to participate. We're actually doing 3 hackathons. So we have one in September, from September 18th to 20th. There's tickets available for professionals and also for students. But of course, if you cannot afford a ticket, you can apply for a waiver. You can get a free ticket. So what you get out of this basically is that in September, the city of Munich and the city of Barcelona will come together. They'll present the biggest challenges for health and mobility, because those 2 things are now very, very closely linked together because of COVID. And they will present these challenges. You will connect with people from all over the world. You'll form teams around a solution that you want to develop for one of those challenges. We'll teach you the design thinking process, so the process of the structure of being able to create a company and creating a solution that is based on a real problem of a customer. It's a very, very nice methodology. And yes, you'll learn this methodology. You'll have a chance to apply it. And then finally, you'll also have a chance to network with some mobility experts, innovators, entrepreneurs from all over the world. And later, I think we're going to talk about the program that I actually run with Unternehmer TUM called Explore. It's a bootcamp for startups. And the winner of the hackathon will actually get a place on this bootcamp in October, which is also online. So if you're really interested in this area, it could be a great chance to get started.
I'll link this as well in the group description or in the channel description as well, so that everyone can access the information that you have just spoken. Okay.
That's great.
And
thanks.
Yeah, another thing is, like, is this completely online through the digital platform?
Yeah, it is. So we're trying to be as innovative as possible. Since we're an entrepreneurship center, we try to be very, very creative. And everything is going to be taking place using different tools. We have Miro, which is an interactive whiteboard for people to collaborate. We have Zoom for most of the input sessions. And we also have a new tool called remote.com, which allows you to do networking online with different tables that have different video calls. So you can easily move between rooms and network with people.
Okay. And yeah, the thing that you said earlier that students can apply. So I have this doubt whether students who have just enrolled in any program, assume like students like me who have just enrolled in Technical University of Munich, so can we apply? Because our semester would be starting from October. So is it possible for us to participate in this program?
Absolutely. And your mom and your dad and your sister can also apply if they would like to. So
Okay.
this is not just restricted to students. This is the benefit because you as a student can of course apply, but there'll also be professionals and there'll be urban planners. There'll be people from the city of Munich and the city of Tel Aviv. One of our partners will come. There'll be professional architects. There'll be other people and people from startups that are all going to connect together. So this is really the goal, is to bring together not just students, but also professionals and other people, because I think professionals can learn from students because students are often much more open-minded and they have less limitations in terms of time, and professionals have the experience, but sometimes they're restricted because they work 9 to 5. So yeah, of course you can all apply and come together.
I mean, that's great. We have now covered everything related to the important hackathon, which is coming soon. Now, let's start forward with your journey. What was your journey? How was it like working with TUM Unternehmer? So we can start with this, right? So like Unternehmer TUM, is it more related to Technical University of Munich? I mean, we can say it is a wing of Technical University of Munich. Like every university have different departments, like different course departments. So, I mean, Unternehmer TUM is kind of a department of Technical University of Munich, right?
Yeah, both yes and no, if that makes sense. So to have a short answer, legally, it's a separate legal company. So Unternehmer TUM is a registered organization that's separate from Technical University Munich. But we have obviously a very close partnership with Technical University Munich because it was founded, actually, founder of Unternehmer TUM was originally a student from Unternehmer TUM. So we have a very close partnership and we support startups directly and students from Technical University Munich. But because we're independent, we can also offer other programs for Germany and for Europe as well.
So another question I was having is like this Unternehmer TUM or the programs that you offer. Can you like briefly describe about what it is about, like Unternehmer TUM in a brief? Like if a student have the startup idea, so what is the process? What things they offer? And what is your part?
Great. So I actually might link you to another video. We have an event called Hack and Talk that we run once per month. And this provides an opportunity where I give an overview of Unternehmer TUM, but it takes a little bit of time. To give you a short answer, we basically support startups and entrepreneurs from every stage, from I have an idea, but I don't know how to build a company, all the way up to I have a company, I have customers, I make money, and I need investment from like a venture capital. So we have a venture capital arm, and we have all the way down to learn about design thinking, learn about how to develop a business model. And that's where I work. So I work at the very beginning stages, and the teams that we support usually don't have a prototype and they have an idea. Maybe they have a team, they don't have to. And then we try to support them to go to the incubator called Expreneurs, which is within Unternehmer TUM. And that's like a standard accelerator program, 3 months, helps to find your first customers, find investors and move on. And we really have everything. We have a prototyping building called Makerspace, where you can build a prototype with wood, 3D printers, a water cutter, a jet cutter, metal, everything you need to do, or a digital prototype. We have student programs called Manage and More, which is specifically for students from Technical University Munich. And you can do a 18-month kind of a master's program to learn about management and entrepreneurship. And then I could go on forever. We have other hackathons and other things that we offer, but they really have everything from beginning to end for startups.
So we can assume, like, if as a student, if I have some idea in mind, so if just this idea, I can come to you people and we can start it from here. I mean, it's just that simple, right?
Absolutely. We're there to support those students directly. And I would say you share my LinkedIn profile afterwards and tell them to contact me directly. I'll also share a link. We have a nice website which lists every single program, and you can just pick the one you want. But the easiest thing to do is to come to the event that we do for free, Hack and Talk. If you have an idea, you can pitch there for 1 minute, but also you have a chance to talk to me and my colleagues who will be there, who can help to point you in the right direction for the programs. Absolutely.
I'll link that as well in the
Cool.
YouTube description. Okay. Yeah, and as you said, like from idea to getting it, like the funding. So what part of funding is provided? I mean, what are the rules and regulations or restrictions when the government is providing funding to a startup?
It depends on the type of funding, to be honest, Gufran. So from our side, the important thing is that all of our programs pretty much don't take any shares or equity from your company. And this is often the case with accelerators where they give you some money and they give you a program, but they also take, say, 5% or 3% of your company, right? Which means that when you go on to make millions of euro, you have to obviously bear in mind they will own part of that. But all of our programs are free. So that's the most important thing, depending on funding from different organizations. So the biggest one from the government is called the Exist Grundstipendium or the Forschungstransfer. That's basically it's a founder's grant for 1 year, and it's the most popular in Germany. And we have a whole department that's connected to Unternehmer TUM that supports startups and entrepreneurs from the university, technical university, to get that funding. It's really quite nice. It's up to 3 people, fully paid position for 1 year to build your startup. And after that, you have to found your company, but not before. And then the second one I mentioned, the Forschungstransfer, it means research transfer. So if you're actually doing your master thesis or your PhD on an interesting topic and you want to create a company, it's the perfect funding. I think it's up to 1 million for 2 years to support you. There are conditions, but it's difficult to get into them now. The biggest one is that you cannot be founded as a company before you enter into that program. You can found your company after that, I think the first day of the Exist program, either one, the research transfer or the 1 year one, but not before. That's the biggest limitation.
Yeah, but like students who have this idea, they can enroll it for free and they can just start with it. Like beyond thinking much, they can just like initiate whatever idea they have in their mind and they can start up with the organization, right?
Exactly. And that's what I would encourage people is to not, sometimes when the startups come to us, they get too fixed. What about a VC? What about investment? What about, how will we be able to get that 4 million that we need? Or they're worried about how do I found my company, because I'm a student here, blah, blah. But all of that comes much later. So what we have to focus on in the beginning is always the customer. It's what does your customer need? What do they want? And how does your solution solve that problem for them? And that's where our programs come in. We can help you.
Now, moving towards the next question is, as you said, Technical University of Munich, the students can apply. And also the students who are residing in Bayern or studying in Bayern can apply. But what about the students who are studying in different university, not just Technical University of Munich, not just restricted to Munich, but everywhere in Germany? They can apply it for free, right?
Yeah, I mean, actually, because of COVID, the programs that I work on, the pre-incubation program called Explore, it's a bootcamp for early stage startups, that's international. I mean, we have teams from Africa, from the US, from Asia, from all over, because we can now. So some of the programs like Manage and More, the management 18-month program that I mentioned is specifically for Technical University Munich students, but almost all of our programs are open for at least European, and most of them are open also for international students.
Yes. Now, I would like to ask you, what is your major role? Like, as you said me earlier, you're working in some mobility or medtech startups. So can you speak about that in short?
Sure. So we do 2 medtech boot camps per year, and that each one has about 10 teams. And what happens there is basically the teams come to us and they have an idea. They maybe have a pitch deck which explains the idea. They maybe have a team, but they don't need to. And what we help them to do is to find the right market for their idea, for their solution for medical technologies. And that's where I come in. So I support them with coaching them, motivating them and pushing them in the right direction, asking questions that investors would ask about why did you select that market? Why did you target that type of feature, et cetera, et cetera. And then afterwards, we provide them with a bit of coaching after this bootcamp phase. For mobility, it's quite broad. So we do a little bit more the hackathon, like I mentioned, which is nearly before the bootcamp, if you look at it in the structure. And that's really like a weekend. It's 2.5 days. It's a splash of inspiration. Get connected, learn something, move through the process of design thinking quickly. and give you the inspiration to maybe then go on to do a boot camp like the MedTech boot camp, for example. We also do other educational programs, like we have a program for mobility called Urban Mobility Integration, UMI. It's I believe it's Arabic for grandmother, I think. So we have partners in Israel, and we thought it was a very interesting name. And we were working with Professor Ezri Tarazi from Technion University in Israel. He's like one of the leaders in design. He helped to found IDEO office in Israel. If anyone knows IDEO, they're kind of the godfather of design thinking in a way. And he created a new design thinking methodology, and you can join for free in, I think it's November, where we're going to give a workshop for 4 days from Professor Tarazi on a new method of design thinking. It mixes design thinking with lean startup and also the agile methodology. And if you don't know what those are, don't worry, but if you attend that 4-day course, it's everything you need in your toolkit to be able to be an entrepreneur.